Hello, my name's Alexandra Palmer. I'm a fashion and textile historian and I work in the Royal Ontario Museum, but now I'm at home. People often ask me what is it we're looking for in the museum, what kinds of objects do you collect? And it's actually under times like this often that things come into the museum that are offered to us. When people are under stress, when there's big changes in life, when someone has passed away and they're cleaning out a house and they don't know what to do with things. And fashion and textiles are complicated objects. They retain the smell, they retain the feel, they actually physically move with you in the world and around you. So they're important objects that have deep meaning. They're complicated too. So while we want things by great designers of fantastic design, beautifully made, and examples of latest technology, whatever's going on, we're also very interested in capturing the stories and the history of that's personal and that is the ephemeral. So Igor Kopytov, an anthropologist, talks about this and he describes it as the biography of an object and explains that while people have lives and people may have multiple lives and move through different times of their lives and things happen to them, so too this happens with objects. And so to try and recapture that and create meaning out of it and make sense of things. So by doing that, you can understand a lot about different cultures and about how people receive things and carry things with them through their lives and what it means. So it's this deeply personal stuff that's really interesting to me. And to capture this, I spend a lot of time actually talking to donors, and actually I'm quite nosy and trying to tease out these bits of information. So I thought today, well, you've probably been going through your closets and doing some spring cleaning. I have too. And I have this pair of shoes in its original shoe box that I'm going to tell you about to try and illustrate what I'm talking about. So these shoes I've had for quite a long time, actually 35 years, and they were given to me in 1984 when I lived in New York by a boyfriend. And the story was that I was on the Upper East Side in Manhattan, I think on Madison Avenue, and I saw this fantastic window display. And we didn't have digital cameras then, but I have this really strong picture of this window in my head, so I'll try and describe it and put it on the table so you can understand it. So it was a low sill with a big plate glass window to the front in a small boutique, and there was black craft paper that went from the very front of it all the way up the back of the window, and down that black paper there were white lines. Now, zooming up and down these white lines were these shoes, these car shoes, and there were lots of them. Mine are these ones. They were different colors, they were different numbers, they were fantastic. They were having a race. The race was on. It was great. So I think I must have told my boyfriend and he bought them for me. Anyway, with these shoes, I would have worn very bright colored tights. This was before I went black with my clothing, and I would not have worn black tights and I would not have worn white tights with these. And actually I had a very small kind of shoeboxy apartment in the East Village, and I had one closet where everything had to go. So I had a rail across the back of the door that I put up, and on it I had a rainbow of coloured tights. I had many, many coloured tights that I collected because they were cheap and they were fun, and it was sort of one of my things. So I would have worn these with really fabulous coloured tights, possibly red, possibly blue, possibly purple or orange or yellow. I don't actually remember, but it was a fun time. And it was this kind of neo-poppy thing that I was really interested in, why I liked these, because I'd grown up in England and remember Carnaby Street, and this was the time of Stephen Sprouse and Keith Haring and really interesting bands with this kind of like 60s vibe, but it was very modern and new. So these shoes were fabulous. But as you can see, I barely wore them. So that was really a tragedy. They were brutally uncomfortable and I couldn't understand why, because they were so fabulous and they were obviously meant for me. They were pumps, they were flat, they were everything I liked. Now, they were designed by Tokio Kumagai, who was a Japanese artist, designer, who won a prize after he graduated from the Bunka Academy in Tokyo, and his prize was a trip to Paris, so he went in 1970 and he never left. in Paris, he designed for different people, and then in 1980, he opened up a shoe shop, originally hand painting shoes, and later with shoes like these, having them made in Italy by fine craftsmen. And his shoes were very anthropomorphic and very entertaining and real conversation pieces. He thought they should be like jewelry, in fact. And so he has other ones that are cats or mice with whiskers or African masks, and he was influenced by art. He had shoes that were influenced by Picasso and Jackson Pollock, and even Julian Schnabel, the contemporary artist, which maybe had plates and clanked around a lot, I'm not sure. Anyway, you can see him on his Facebook page that still is around, and he died in 1987, alas, and he looks really lovely. He has short black hair and a little moustache, which is terribly chic, a black turtleneck, and this sort of drapey, really nice suit. And he's perched up on a chair like a little bird, and he has black round glasses, sort of like these, sort of channeling Fujita, another Japanese artist who was very famous and went to Paris in the 1920s. He looks lovely. I would have loved to have met him. And as you can see, these shoes are fabulous. They've got a grate, they've got headlights, they've got tires. Mine's a number 6. They have a fabulous little plastic windscreen here, and they're built for the road, they're built for speed, and they're built for fun. So it was a great disappointment that they were so incredibly uncomfortable. And believe me, I tried very hard to pretend they weren't. So these shoes, I kept them because they were so fabulous. And they went with me across the country when I got a new job and left New York and went to Ohio. And then they came with me when I moved back to Canada and to Toronto, and crossed the 49th parallel and came down with me and lived here for a while. Then they went out east with me to Halifax when I got a job out there teaching at Nova Scotia College of Art and Design. And then they came back with me when I moved back to Toronto to take this job at the museum. And actually they've been idling in my closet back there ever since. So I love these shoes, and one day, maybe soon, I'll try and find them a permanent parking spot in the museum in Toronto. So while you're going through your things, talk to your children, explain your life to them in these ways. Clothes and fashions tell stories, and write them down, take pictures, draw them, record them, think about it, because it's the personal that really animates things, and that's the ephemeral, and that's what we'll lose, and that tells us a lot about our culture and our geography and our times. So be safe, wash your hands, don't speed your car, and don't let your dog eat your shoes. Bye.